Host name Terraform. Now give me some 5 to 10 minutes. I'll quickly revise everything, whatever we have done till now. Okay. And then we will go ahead and talk further. Now, first thing first, when you create a server, okay, you will not have Terraform. So what we do is we install Terraform. How to install Terraform? So Terraform installation is simple, straightforward. You simply come here and say Terraform, download or install. You can say install Amazon Linux. Simple. Go update your application. Sorry, not this guy. Go update your application. First run yum update -y. And after that, simply come to Linux, Amazon Linux, and run these 3 commands. Terraform is installed. Once Terraform is installed, the first thing what I do is I create a folder. Let me say first demo dot something like this. So I'll go to this guy and say ls-f. Now here, when I start my work, generally I start like this. I create a folder called main.tf and I start writing whatever I have to. It is not at all mandatory for you to write main.tf only. You can give any name of your choice. Okay. So let me say I started with something like this. Second. Let me come here to my GitHub. This was Terraform. So I generally start something like this, where I will have my access key, secret access key, and everything. Notepad++. Okay, so this is my code. Now it says, where is your region? So I'll say US East 1. If you want, you can provide your access key, secret access key, but I told you that's not the right way. So do not provide your access key and secret access key, or do not hard code the value here. If you hard code, that's not the right way. So we remove this. Then we say that we are going to create an AWS resource, that is my EC2 instance, and you pick the AMI corresponding to that. So when I say corresponding to that, suppose you are working in US East 1. So come to US East 1. Launch instance. And take an AMI which corresponds to this. So this is the AMI. I've showed you earlier that this AMI will be available only here. So it will not be available somewhere else. Take the code, put it here. Once your thing is done, the first command you run is Terraform init. So you initialize your backend. In short, there is a plugin which has to be installed. This HashiCorp AWS plugin, the provider plugin has to be installed. The moment it is installed, your environment is successful to be used. Let me clear this, ls-la. Once it is successful, you will get a .terraform log HCL file and this Terraform. So I showed you that day that if you go here, you will see a folder structure like this, Terraform. Inside that, you will have provider. Inside that, register Terraform IO, HashiCorp, AWS, and which version you are using, and finally the actual executable for Terraform. So this is the entire setup. Once the setup is done, okay, you start executing your command. So first you come here and say Terraform format, or you can simply say FMT. So what will happen is whatever code is there, that will get formatted. Even if you have not written it correctly, it will get formatted. Then you can come here and say Terraform validate. So this .tf file will be validated. A formal syntax check will happen at a very top level. If it is okay, then you can move ahead. Then the next command we are saying that we will run is, we will say Terraform plan. So when we say Terraform plan, we are basically, okay, wait a second. Why it is coming. So in the morning class, I was teaching this. That's why it is coming. So you can come here and say Terraform plan. So Terraform plan will tell you that what all is going to get created. So here it is saying one item is to be added. Now come here and just see what is going to get created. So you can see here a AWS instance, my EC2 will be created. So if you're okay, you can simply go ahead and say Terraform apply minus auto approve, and it will be created. Now, once it is auto approved, you don't have to go ahead and say yes, no, or anything like that, and it will simply go ahead and get created. Now, here I did not mention my access key and secret access key directly in the code. So this place where it was asking me access key and secret access key, I did not provide it manually, right? I did not do AWS configure also. AWS configure. So what I have done, I have gone ahead to my IAM role and I have created a role which will help me to get the access to this guy. So the role is something like this. Role. Click on this role. For time being, we will give admin role, admin access, but generally we don't do that. But for time being, we are giving admin access. EC2 is going to use it. Say next, and you give here admin access. Just come here and say ADMINISTRADOR, and you will get administrator access. Okay, just click on this. Say next, give a name. Let me say TF admin and just say create. Once the role is created, you have to come back to your EC2 instance and attach this role. That's it. So if you're working completely on an EC2 environment or an AWS environment, that is all what you need to do. You will have to come back to your instance, North Virginia, this instance is not there. It is there in Mumbai. So the actual Terraform instance is in Mumbai. Okay. So let me go to Mumbai. Here, you have to come down. You have to action. And here in the security, you have to come and say modify IAM role, and you have to attach that role. So if I come here, I have created something called TF admin, right? TF admin. You can attach this role. That's it. Now, at the same time, if you're not using like how I am doing, you can go ahead and install this Visual Studio Code. Okay. If you install Visual Studio Code, it's simple, straightforward, nothing additional here. You will simply come here and clone your Git repository. You can say, I want to clone my Git repository. That Git repository name will come and you can download it to your local, something like this. So here you have to give the name of the repository. Let me say my repository is, take the repository from here. Something like this you have to do. It will say in local where you would like to save it. So I'll say I'll save it in my desktop and I will give a name, something like this, new, and I will say TF code. Select this, select repository location, and it is cloning your content. Okay. You can see that this has been opened once again. The code has opened here. Okay. Now, if you want, you can start running on this. Let me say this guy, and the code is present here. Now, if for me there is a problem, if you come to terminal, say new terminal, a screen here will open. For you, it should open. For me, it is not opening. That is my laptop issue. So something like this will open, but for me, it is getting error. If that screen is opening, directly you can type your commands. In case that is not working, you have to come here and you have to open PowerShell. PowerShell. Okay. And here you have to download AWS CLI for Windows in case you're using Windows. So this setup will be a little bit different. AWS CLI for Windows. And here you can go ahead and download this thing to your local. Okay. Once you download this AWS CLI version 2, simply come here and say AWS configure. Okay. Then it will ask you for access key, secret access key, provide that. And you can run all the commands from here also. Here also, means here also in the sense from the terminal. Here. Okay, for me it is giving problem. So in that scenario, you will be able to write the code from your local machine, from your AWS machine, and finally you're storing it in GitHub. That is important. Okay, you're storing the code in GitHub. Okay, now assuming that you are able to write the code, we have written a piece of code here, and we saw that one resource got created, and this is what is the ID of that resource. Okay, now let's start with something new. These things we already know. Now, there is something called desired state and there is something called current state. Now, whatever I have done, it is stored here in TF state. And I know that if I mess up with this TF state file, it will be gone. It will be completely problematic for me. So never ever go and mess up with this or do any changes unwanted to that. But let me say there is someone who came here and I was running this particular machine and Terraform has brought up this machine. Now Terraform, when it brought up, it told that this instance is T2 micro. Okay. But what you did is you changed it. So what changes you're doing? You stopped the instance. Okay. Give me 1 second. It will get stopped. You stopped the instance and this T2 micro, you changed it to, let me say T2 nano, something like that you did. So it is stopping. In another 30 seconds, it should stop. You can see it has stopped. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this particular thing and I'm going to change the instance setting. Instance type from T2 micro, I'm going to make it, let me see, T2 medium. T2 micro, from there I'm making it T2 medium. Apply. So this is T2 medium and I will bring it back or I will start the instance. Now what will happen? Now this is a problem. There is a mismatch. There is a discrepancy. According to your TF state file, if I open this TF state file, according to TF state file, this should have T2 micro, right? But you have manually gone ahead and changed it. Let me see, where is that guy? So here, the instance type should be T2 micro and it should be running. But you have done a small change. You stopped the instance and you did make it T2 medium. Now what will happen? Will my TF state also get automatically changed? No. So for Terraform, this TF state file is the Bible or it is the source of truth. Whatever is written in the TF state file, that is only correct. Whatever you do in your local, that is your problem or your work. But anytime when you bring Terraform into picture, it will always and always refer to TF state file. Can you validate that? So I will come here and say Terraform plan. So when you do a Terraform plan, it will validate your TF state file with the current state. So it is saying refreshing the state, how it knows what state it is. So here, the moment it refreshes, it says, hold on, see, there is a discrepancy. I can see that the machine is running with T2 medium, but in my TF state file, it should be T2 micro. So this is a problem. Okay. And Terraform will treat this as a discrepancy or a problem. So now if you go here and say Terraform apply, it will automatically go and update that. Means the T2 medium which you changed manually, it will remove that and it will make it T2 micro. So always and always, it will prefer using TF state file rather than anything else. So this is called desired state and current state. So always the desired state, whatever you want, you put it on your script. The moment you update your script, automatically your TF state file will change and then your instance will change. But if you directly modify on the instance, then that is not in the record or that is not considered. So you can see here that when I did a Terraform plan, it told that, hey, this is wrong. You cannot do like this. And if you do like this, I will revert it back or I will push it back. So this is what it is doing. It is trying to modify the content. And if you come back here, the earlier thing was T2 medium. If you refresh, you will see it has been changed to T2 micro. So this is desired state versus current state. Always and always, TF state will be taking preference over anything. And it's a very important interview question that, when I ran it via script, I saw that there are few problems. What I did is I went to the instance and I created them manually. What will happen now? Nothing will happen. The moment your TF state file, the moment your Terraform apply runs again, it will go ahead and overwrite all your manual changes. Do so, it is recommended. Do not do any manual change. Okay. Now, a second interview question here can be, what happens if I have two files like this? One is main.tf. I have another file called second.tf, something like this, which is creating one more resource. 1 second, give me 1 second. Copy this. So what happened if I have one more file? Let me say second.tf. So I have two TF files here, okay? And I'm intentionally putting this US East 1 and the bucket name, you can change anything. Sorry. Give the bucket name anything. Bucket is nothing but the storage component, okay? So today's date is 7/12. So I will say 07/12/2022. So I'm creating a bucket, okay? So remember one thing, this provider thing I'm writing twice. One I have written in my main.tf, the other one I'm writing here. And here I'm creating a S3 bucket storage component and I'm making a ACL or making it private. Okay, you can see here it is private. So let me come here and try to execute this. What I'm trying to show, first see that I have provider here also, and I have provider here also. Okay, so I have this provider at two places. Clear this. Now go ahead and say Terraform plan. The moment you say Terraform plan, it says duplicate provider is there. I already found that in main.tf. Why are you again giving me in the second.tf? So either you can remove in your main.tf or you can remove in your second.tf. So let me say I will go and remove in my second.tf. So one very important thing, you want to write multiple TF files accepted, but the provider should always be written once. Now go ahead and run this. So here it will say that these many things will create it. So here it is already there. EC2 instance is already there. So here it is saying two things will get created. What are those two things? One is AWS S3 bucket ACL access control list, and the other one is the bucket itself. AWS S3 bucket, and the name will be this thing. Let's go ahead and apply this. So how to apply? Simply come and say apply -- auto approve. So what will happen? The instance is already there. Okay. A bucket will be created and corresponding to that access control list will be created. So 3 things is what I'm expecting here. So you can see here AWS S3 bucket getting created and it says apply is complete. And let me clear this and go inside and check whether that storage has been created or not. S3. Let me directly see here. 1 second now. What is the credential? 34869 and delete. I'm going to the S3 component. And if you see here, this is what got created, my Terraform bucket. And this guy is here, December 7th, 1930. So this is time in my watch, and this is when it got created. Now, one new thing is what I'll teach you. If I come here and say Terraform destroy, what will happen? All the 3 items which I have will be destroyed. Everything will be deleted. What all? Instance, S3 bucket, and the ACL. So it is saying 3 items will be destroyed. Okay, but assume I don't want to destroy all 3 of them. I want to destroy only this guy. So what should I do? I will come here and say Terraform destroy minus target and this. So I'm only destroying my EC2 instance. I'm not destroying the other 2. So it will go ahead and delete your EC2 instance and the others will remain as it is. Let's see. So it says 1 item is going to get destroyed. Here it will say, do you want to destroy all the resources? But it is not all the resources. It is only 1 resource. Okay. So here, if you say yes, it will go ahead and destroy your EC2 alone. So target flag is you can use to create that particular or delete that particular content. See here. So you can see this particular instance or this particular stuff is only getting deleted. So you can see this instance getting deleted. So bucket remains as it is. You can see the bucket, nothing is changing here. My TF bucket. And here, if you go to the properties, you can see this access control list. And everyone, public access, no, nothing is there. But if you go back to your EC2, you might be seeing that that particular instance, which we were running some time back, that is gone. See, this is gone. 99 D71. D71, this is gone. So this is destroyed. So always you can go ahead and delete something in a targeted way or create something in a targeted way. So rather than saying that I want to create everything, you can come here and say Terraform apply, and then you can use this target flag and you say what you want to create. So let me say there is a setup. There are 20 items which is to be created. As of now, I don't want to create all 20 of them. So I can mention that particular, whatever it is. Okay, so let me say I want to create this guy. So I will say AWS underscore instance like this, like how you did a destroy. The same time you will do a apply. Now, I will open it for questions. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead.
Quick question.
Hello. Anyone has any questions? Yeah, Mohammed, please go ahead, man.
So current state means the state in the portal, AWS portal. Desired state means
No, other
TF
way.
state, correct?
No, other way. See, if you there are two parties involved here. Okay, the first party is Terraform. For Terraform, always and always the current state will be what is there in the TF state file. Okay, so let me put it like this. This is my Terraform. This is provider. For time being, let's see, this is AWS. This is Terraform. So for Terraform, the source of truth is my TF state file, TF state. So the current status is always put here. And whatever you want, desired, is here. Okay. So we will think from Terraform perspective. For Terraform, the current state is whatever is there in the TF state. And desired is whatever you want to change on the provider. Here in my example, it is AWS.
If we change the TF state, say from T2 micro to T2 medium, and then plan and apply, will it affect the desired state also?
Yes, definitely.
But it will not affect other way around, right?
No. So this way is yes, this way is no. So the question is, or the scenario is, I'm changing my TF state file. The moment you change a TF state file, it will make the change. Yes, this is yes. But this is no. If you change something here, it will not change your TF state file.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone?
Because,
Yeah.
yeah. So I want to ask, if peradventure you get to your work and you see that somebody changed some of the details, maybe on EC2. So is it the right thing to run Terraform apply or Terraform plan to see? How do you see, get to know the changes, and then if it is something that you want or not, what do you run?
Okay,
Is it
can you,
Terraform
so I was not able to hear everything correctly. Can you go bit by bit so that I do understand?
Yeah, I said, just like you went to the AWS and you saw that somebody changed the T2 micro to medium, right?
Okay,
So
one
peradventure,
second. So you are saying that on AWS, somebody changed the instance type. Let me just come here, 1 second. So give me 1 second. I take this out. So let me say Terraform apply auto approve. Let me just run it. Then I will
Okay.
take the question. So we go step by step. So first is, you are saying that there is some item on AWS environment. Let me say there is a EC2 instance, which has the current state as T2 micro.
Right.
Hold on for a second. Give me 1 second, another 20 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, because in my case, I'm not able to see state file actually when I created the EC2 mission.
No, it will be there. Do ls minus LA.
Yeah, I typed that I can see only that log file.
No, man, should not be. If you're following what I am doing, then why will you not be able to see it? First thing first, so we created a EC2 instance by running the set. Second is I'm stopping this instance so that I will be able to change this T2 micro.
Right.
Let me say T2 medium or something like that. Let me do that much.
Do we need to stop the instance while
Yes.
updating the instance type every time?
Yes, that is important. Without that, you cannot do.
So in the console, we should manually stop it and we need to run the script, right?
Why to run the script? You can manually do it now.
No, if I want to do it with the Terraform script,
And then it will be automatically taken care. You don't have to do anything.
oh, it automatically stop and start. Huh?
Yes, it will do everything. The script will take
Okay.
care of everything.
Okay, console, I know. We need to stop and start. Yeah.
Papa,
Hmm?
I'm done not speaking it.
Okay, 1 second. Wear your shoes. After that, I'll take you. Okay.
I'm done speaking it.
Then wear your shoes. I will take you now. And tie your hair also.
But I'm not here.
Hmm.
The truth.
Okay, so I've done here. I've changed this T2 micro. Sorry, T2 micro. I've updated it as T2 medium. So this
Right.
is done. Okay, and let me bring it back. Instance state start. Now, the one who was asking the question, please go ahead with the second part of your question.
Yeah, I said my second part of question is somebody did this when you were not there, right? And you put it as T2 micro. So when you come and you want to continue what you are doing like yesterday, do you always come back to run Terraform apply or Terraform refresh or something? How do you get to catch
Ideally,
the
the
difference?
expectation within the team will be nobody should do it manually. But if somebody has done it manually, always it will be a good practice to go ahead and make a check here. So I will always recommend that you do a Terraform plan just to check whether it is proper or not. Ideally, it should not be done. Means somebody should have not manually changed these parameters.
Okay. So peradventure, you run it and then you wanted the T2 micro medium, but you mistakenly put T2 micro and you go there and change it. How do you import it to?
So
How do you bring it back to TS state?
See, you don't change TF state. Don't go ahead and do any changes to TF state. Your work should only be done here. Your work should only be done here. Whatever you want to do. Let me say you want to make it medium.
Right.
Don't worry about what's happening in TF state file. You worry about this guy. So it is already there. So now both the files will say the same thing because already it is there T2 medium here. I have also changed here. So here, no changes. Okay. And if you go and check the TF state file, TF state, here also you will see that it is already T2 medium. So you don't manually go and update anything on the TF state file. Your point of contact is only and only your main.tf file. That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now,
thank you.
So you mean to say it's always sync with the main.tf, right?
Yeah, it should all Terraform state file should always sync with main.tf.
Not with console, right?
No, not with console. Now that we could bring up EC2 instance in AWS using Terraform, similarly, it is possible to replicate database or any other software already running on Terraform. Yes. Yes, you can do everything. So in AWS, there are components like RDS, EKS, all these things can be replicated. I just started with one, but definitely we can replicate others. Now, let me show you one more variety here. Now, many a times when people write the script like this, main. So they have this thing, hard coding. Now you say, no, I don't want hard coding. I want that it should be dynamic. During runtime, I will decide. The same code I'm going to use in prod, in dev, in test environment. In test environment, it should be T2 micro, but in prod, it should be M4 large. How should I work with this? So in that case, what you will do is you will go ahead and change your code. So let me come to variables. You will come and put something like this. You will say, variable dot instance type. So you say var, or in simple terms, if I have to read, I will say there is a variable called instance type. Take the value from there. Control X. You will say, where did you define it? Let me define it. I have not defined it yet. Let me define it. So I will go ahead and create a new type called variables.tf. This name is mandatory, variables.tf. At least in some versions it is mandatory, not all versions, but in some versions it is mandatory. Now, if you pass a default value, okay, it will always take that value. But in case you don't want to give any default value, just put it like this, Control X, Y, enter. Now, if you see your file, it is saying, go to the variables folder and there look for instance type. And when you come to your variables folder, it has just defined it, no value. So when you run it, see what will happen. Terraform plan. So when you run it, it will ask you for the value. Now you tell me what is the value. If you are running in dev environment, say T2 micro. If you are running in, let me say I've randomly given some number. What will happen? It should throw me an error. It should say there is no such type of instance available in my AWS environment. So it should throw me an error. So it is not throwing here, but down the line when you do it, it will throw you an error. This is one way of giving the value. The other way can be, you put it like this. While doing the plan, you say I'm going to give the value to this variable and the instance type is going to be T2 small. So you can pass the value while you're running the code. This is one way of doing it. Or you simply run Terraform plan and then a screen will come where it will prompt you for that value and it will be there. In case you don't want this also, then come here and in the variable.tf, you give the default value. So if I give the default value in variable.tf, it will not ask all these things. Let me just show you that. Give the default value here. So it will directly take the default value and start the work. Okay, but in case you want to override that value, pass it like this. With this -var.
Yeah, nice. Ready.
How do I get the Adola? Can you please contact the coordinator, the one who is sharing the invite with you? Can you please ping him back and say that I need the recorded videos? So there is a WhatsApp group on which he will add you and he can share these recordings also. What is the TF state and TF state backup? The same normal meaning which you have. TF state is the current state and TF state backup is the previous to previous state. Okay. So TF state is the, suppose I run the code now. Suppose I'm running the code now. Let me give you an example. So let me say I say Terraform destroy -- auto approve. So if I destroy everything right now, okay, my TF state file will have the current state, means whatever I destroyed, that is destroyed and nothing will be there. Okay, but TF state backup will be one execution before. Okay.
It holds the previous or previous to previous.
So one step back.
So you mean to say current step to the step back
-1.
previous,
You can
right?
say current -1.
Because where
In
dot
my case-
is there, so only we need to give the variable dot that only it will cause the file variable file, or we can give any name. Hello.
Hey, sorry, I got distracted. So the
Yeah.
question was that the name should be given variables.tf or it can be anything else, right?
Yeah.
See, there are many versions. There are many versions, or the latest version is supporting everything. Give any name of your choice, okay? But the older versions, they require variables.tf only. So it will depend. If you are installing latest version, take anything, it will work. Variables.tf, xyz.tf, it will go ahead and take it. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So because if someone should have different actions, so and you want to check like the backup for like maybe the third previous, you understand what I mean? Like maybe you have done 1, 2, 3, and the backup state is just the current minus.
See, if you
minus
want
1.
to keep your state or you want to preserve your state, okay, Terraform itself doesn't have any such mechanism. Go to your VS Code, go to your GitHub and you put all these things. So you can sync your status always in your GitHub kind of thing.
Okay, is this supposed to be public? Because state file is something that is not supposed to be public, right?
No, when you create a GitHub repo, it can be private or public. It depends on you whether you want to expose it or you don't want to expose it.
Okay, okay. But the best practice is that you don't undo the TF state because the company will undo that, right?
Yeah, the best practice is you keep it private and don't expose it to everyone.
Okay. Yeah, my another question is it's not available to the developers, right? It's the company that has it, like the back end.
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, I said the best practice is you don't have access to it. The company keep that as back end.
So you don't give edit access to them, but view access will definitely be there.
Oh,
so
okay.
Developers can go ahead and edit the code, and you as a DevOps engineer, in case you have been asked to edit the code, you will. But
Okay.
yeah.
So there's a way you can set it, and then is only read only that will be given the permission, read only permission.
See, I will show you in Git how can that be done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate.
Because one question here, same in GitHub, we can maintain the versions also, like in private also, like the same TF files. So we are working multiple days.
You can create multiple versions.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to give access to your fellow this thing, you can come here to settings.
Okay.
Then to developer settings here.
Okay.
And here personal access token.
Okay.
You can say token class. And here you can create a new token. Generate a new token.
Okay.
Wait a second, it is asking me for my credentials. Now here you can go ahead and talk about the permission. So let me say I'm going to give some token like something like this. Okay. So which repository would like to give access? And would you like to give only read-only access? Now
Okay.
you come here and say, let me say, I want to give for 30 days. So come here and say generate a token. Now here it will ask you, wait, see, I went to different one again. Fine-grained, delete this. Give me 1 second, I think that's wrong. Token classic. Generate new token. Token classic. Here you say what a kind of repo access, delete access, admin access if you want to give, or you want to give user access.
Okay.
So here you choose what kind of access you would like to give to your developer. Okay. If you give admin access, he will be able to do all the work related to admin. So it will depend what kind of access you're willing to give.
Thank you.
Any more questions on this?
Because I have the question, how many TF file we can have unlimited?
Yes, the TF file can be unlimited.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening, Vikas. Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Okay, Vikas, it's regarding to the main.tf file. So like in a scenario, we have like different parallel projects running in like single Terraform ecosystem. Let's say one web server is dedicated for certain task and other maybe like for query, etc. So hardware demands are different, obviously. So all this info, like how do we manage that in the state file, like for parallel projects, like they are independent to each
Then
other?
you have to parameterize it. Like just now I told you, right? You T2 micro for one environment, T2 medium for another.
Based on like even like the region, like AWS region as well. Am I right?
You have to parameterize it.
So like all this needs to be done in the main.tf file only, right?
Or you can separate it also. Modularization is also allowed.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
So are you going to show us how to use module?
Yeah, it will be there. There are modules for that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. There's a question, to main.tf. No, to main.tf not allowed. The name should be different.
So you mean to say when you initialize the Terraform, under the folder, we have multiple files. When you apply it, it will consider all the files, right?
Yes. So that's why you can use target flag and you can target only one.
Okay, individual. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, fine, guys. We'll start with a new topic tomorrow and take all the questions tomorrow also. Okay. In case you have any questions, post in the WhatsApp window or we can take it tomorrow itself. Okay. See you then.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you then, guys. Bye-bye.